All right, welcome everybody to today's webinar. I'm Steve Mahoney. I'm with Kathleen Thompson and Sarah Blecher. We are from the Greater Hartford chapter of SCORE. Today's webinar will be led by Sarah. It is all about using ChatGPT for content creation for your business. We did run a poll at the beginning. I'm going to end the poll now and we will share the results just to give folks some insight on who we have here today. So in terms of the stage of your business, pretty even distribution here. A little over 40% have been in business more than 6 years, and about a third startup and a third growing. Type of business that you have, the winner appears to be professional services, about 40%, but we have a pretty good variety here. We've got some manufacturing, wholesale, retail, nonprofit, and a handful in other. In terms of how does your business fit into your life, over 2/3 are full-time, and then we have about a quarter are part-time with a job and some with part-time with caregiver goal. And then are you promoting your products? Wow, really good even distribution here, Sarah, across pretty much everything. We've got consulting services barely ahead of promoting products, but we also have local services and a few events and educational programs. So pretty good distribution of attendees today. So with that, I will turn it over to you to get started.
Wonderful. All right. Well, I just wanted to thank everyone for coming today. You're going to spend an hour with me, and I very much appreciate it. We're going to talk about content creation with ChatGPT. I think this hour is going to change your life. It's going to make a ton of tasks that you just hate doing super, super easy. So I'm excited. Just for context, my name is Sarah Blecher. I spent 15 years in New York City running a digital marketing company for large businesses. For the last 8 years, I've been a digital marketing consultant, and I recently got a job as director of development at the American Mural Project. If you haven't heard of it, it's up in the northwest corner of Connecticut. It is the world's largest indoor mural celebrating the art of work. So if you have a day, I invite you to come up and see me. Check out the mural. It is something to see. Plus, it's an adorable town with cute cafes and a brewery. So what are we going to cover today? We're going to talk about what ChatGPT is and what AI bots are. So ChatGPT is a type of artificial intelligence bot. What can and can't we use ChatGPT for? How to use it when starting a business, how to use it when promoting a business, and what else it can do. First, let's talk about what is ChatGPT and what are AI bots. So ChatGPT is actually an artificial intelligence language model. It was developed by OpenAI, and it's actually not intelligent. It is an application that is designed to simulate human conversation. So it doesn't understand the question you're asking. It's simply taking the question that you're asking and going out to the internet and predicting how someone might answer that question based on everything that it knows. So it can generate some pretty fantastic things in milliseconds, but the downside is it's not always correct. So how can I think about ChatGPT? I think of it as just a team of super savvy teenagers. They work fast, they produce a lot, but they don't have a lot of life experience. So sometimes they produce things that don't make a lot of sense. So they definitely need to be guided, and you absolutely need to check your work. So the previous world, before ChatGPT, you'd have to do all the writing yourself. Now, Chat can do the writing, but you have to be the editor. You have to be the parent in the situation. So what are some of the limitations? Well, Chat actually grabs all of the content from the internet and sorts through it in order to figure out how to predict an answer to your question. Unfortunately, if you've been on the internet lately, there are a whole lot of credible sources and a lot of conspiracy theory or questionable sources. So because it's taking content from the entire internet and it's not taking from a certain slice of content, it could produce incorrect answers. The other thing is Chat doesn't have the latest content. They had to cut it off at some point so they could analyze all that content and come up with good answers. So it's actually ended in 2022. So if you have any questions for ChatGPT that happened in the last 2 years, you won't likely get an answer. You may get an answer, but it won't be accurate. And again, it really doesn't understand your question. So it's looking at what you asked, seeing what's been said about that topic, and returning a series of words that it thinks you want to hear. So it's always a predictor, but sometimes the mashups go wrong. My absolute favorite example of ChatGPT going off the rails is a friend of mine had written a prompt and it said, write me a strong intro for an email to my chiropractic clients. And chat came back with, I hope this finds you dominating in your sphere of chiropractic excellence. It is the funniest statement I think I've ever read. And any normal human would say, okay, people use those words and you put together quite a sentence there, but real people don't speak like that. So one of the things you want to be doing is whenever chat gives you an output, you want to make sure it goes through the human filter. Is this something someone would actually say? So what can we use it for? Anything that's creative. So if we have an idea and we don't know how to express it in a poster, we don't know how to express it on a website, we don't know how to express it in a letter, we don't know how to express it in a, even a conference, we want to put together a conference speech, anything that's creative, we can use ChatGPT for. We do not want to use it for anything precise. Names, dates, amounts. If you ask it, if Abraham Lincoln is still alive, there is a chance that it could come back with he's dead or he is still alive because some corner of the internet has a theory that he might not have died at the time. So everything that you want to do with chat, you just want to make sure if you're looking for something precise, any numbers it gives you, you have to validate with a second source. So let's go quickly, since half of you already have a business, half of you are starting. Let's go through all the ways chat can help you when you're starting a business. Even if you have a business that exists today, you might want to rewrite your copy. You may want to have things where you take a look at your website again. You take a look at your marketing materials. You take a look at your HR handbook. So let's talk about what are the things that if you're starting a business, you can use ChatGPT for. You can have it generate a business name for you. You can have it generate taglines, your marketing message for your homepage, all of your web pages, product descriptions, case studies if you're a B2B company, testimonials if you happen to be a consultant, your about us story, privacy policy, and any kind of like documents like HR documents it can make pretty well. It can make pretty quickly for you and accurately. So how do you get started? Well, you can go to chat.openai.com or just type in ChatGPT into your favorite search engine and it'll bring you to this page. Looks a little strange to me, but there's a button in the lower left that says try ChatGPT. It's then going to ask you to log in. And the reason it wants you to create a free account is because everything you ask chat, it'll save the answers. So it'll save both your questions and the answers. So once you're logged in, you see this screen and it has a very nice, how can I help you today? And gives you some examples. Do you want to compare marketing strategies, help you debug something, suggest fun activities, write a spreadsheet formula? But as a new business, I simply want to start with coming up with a business name. So I type in, I want to start a business. It's a bakery. What should I name it? I hit that button, that enter button, and within milliseconds, it gives me a ton of names. And the names are pretty good. Flourish and Frost, Heavenly Delights, Whisk and Crumb, Sugar and Spice, Rise and Shine, Oven Fresh Delights, Blissful Bites. And I can keep asking. I say, give me more that have to do with cupcakes. Give me more that have to do with croissants. And chat will continually give you new ideas. After I have that name, I might have a thought in my head, well, I like the name Sugar and Spice Bakery. Are there any bakeries named that in the state of Connecticut? Because I don't want to name my business after something else. And chat has actually gotten smarter and it says, as of my last update in January 2022, I don't have access to real-time data. But here are some helpful ways to figure out whether Sugar and Spice Bakery exists. I can do an online search. I can look at business directories. I can look at the state business registry and social media. So what I like about this is chat is now reminding you that it doesn't have real-time data or specifics, but it also gives you a way forward so you can find out. So let's say I love my name. I found out that there's no other bakery named that in Connecticut. So I want to create a tagline for my bakery. Can you suggest a few? Certainly. And it comes up with really cute things. Baking happiness daily, savor the sweet side of life, from oven to heart. A lot of these are great. And you can use one of them exactly as is, or you can say more like this. Can you give me more like made with love, served with joy? And it'll continue to give you ideas. Great. Now I have my name. I have my tagline. I need to set up a website. So I say, hey, chat, I need you to set up a website. Or I need to set up a website. How can I do that? And chat goes, no problem. Here's a step-by-step guide. Choose a domain, select a web hosting provider, choose a website platform. And the platforms it gives actually as examples are pretty good. So now these aren't up to date. These are the most popular ones as of 2022, but it mentions WordPress and Wix, Squarespace, and Shopify. Those are all good options. And then it says you need to design your website, add content, optimize for SEO, etc. So I might have a thought, okay, well, which website building platform is best for a bakery? And this best question, you might want to put into ChatGPT, but the answer back, it can't really do the best. So again, Chat's getting a little bit smarter, and it says the best website building platform depends on your specific needs. What it is able to do is to suggest the top ones that it knows about. So Wix, Squarespace, WordPress. But at the end of the day, it's not going to have any new ones that have come out again after 2022. And it can't tell you which of these is actually best for you, but still pretty helpful. So I go, great, what web pages should I have for my bakery website? And it says, well, for a bakery, I might suggest these essential pages: a homepage, about us, menu, contact us, locations, blog, testimonials, FAQs. So you could do this if you were a consultant. What consultant pages should I have? Or if you were a nonprofit, like what kind of pages should I put on my website if I'm a nonprofit? And you can ask Chat, and Chat will come up with a good list, a solid list of where to begin. Great, that's a list of pages I need to write. I don't want to write any of them. Hey, Chat, can you help me write my About Us page? It absolutely can. So all I gave it as a prompt was, can you help me write the About Us page? But it knows that I'm a bakery because I've been talking to it about being a bakery and coming up with a name and having web pages. And so it's going to do its best to come up with content. And it doesn't do a bad job. Welcome to Bakery, where every crumb tells a story. Founded in whatever year, our bakery is the culmination of a lifelong passion for baking and a dream to share our love for delicious handcrafted treats with the world. Pretty good. It's pretty good content. It goes on to say, behind every delicious creation is a dedicated team of passionate bakers and pastry chefs who pour their hearts into every recipe. Well, the truth is about my bakery, it's just me. I don't have a team. So I'm looking at this content thinking, wow, it's really well written, but it's not specific to me. So how can I help Chat take this content and transform it into something that actually is valuable for me? This is probably the one thing I want you to remember from this whole hour. There's a way where you can say, this content feels a bit generic. Can you ask me some questions and then rewrite it? This is the best thing to ask Chat. Ask me some questions and then do the task that I want you to do. If you don't say, ask me questions, you're going to get sort of very nice sounding copy, really well written, but it's going to talk about things that like maybe a team of people and it's just you. It's not going to fit. So Chat says, of course, here are some questions to help get this About Us page to be unique to you. What inspired you to start the bakery? What sets your bakery apart? Can you share any memorable moments? What values to guide your bakery? There are a lot of really good questions in here. And the great part is you don't have to be a good writer. You simply have to answer the questions in a matter-of-fact tone, and Chat will spin the rest. So I actually tried to answer these questions in a very basic way. I said, I loved baking with my grandmother when I was a child. She made such delicious brownies, and I loved the time we spent together. We are a French-style bakery. We specialize in eclairs, croissants, and all things French. I started baking out of my home for friends and family. Soon people I didn't know started asking for my desserts. This year, I'll be launching my online shop. In the next 2 years, I hope to have a physical shop. So I just started answering the questions in very plain language. And I asked it to rewrite it. And it came out great. At Sugar and Spice Bakery, our journey began with cherished memories of baking alongside my grandmother. Her delicious brownies sparked my passion for baking and inspired me to share that love with others. Today, we're proud to bring a taste of France to Simsbury through our French-style bakery specializing in eclairs, croissants, and all things French. So within a few short minutes, I got an entire page full of About Us copy that was custom to me and written in a really beautiful way. Let's look at the team section. Behind Sugar and Spice Bakery is a dynamic duo, myself, the passionate baker, and my husband, the numbers guy. Together, we bring our respective talents to the table to create a bakery experience that is as sweet as it is satisfying. Pretty amazing. So you can further customize this if you do ask me some questions and you answer those questions and then have it write something for you. You can, at this point, say, I would like the tone to be more humorous. I would like it to be longer. I would like it to be shorter. You can keep asking chat to do as many revisions as you want. And actually, what's amazing about that is if you had an actual copywriter, they get annoyed. But chat never gets annoyed with you. Doesn't really. So now that I have my About Us page and some of my other web pages written, I'd say, well, I need some product descriptions for my website and I want them to be really great. So ask me questions about my products and then write the descriptions. Again, it gives me a set of questions. I can answer those questions in very plain language and it will spin all of those things into beautiful copy. I love this photo. Let's pause here for a second and just check in and see how everyone's doing. But you can see how when you're starting a business, you could do most of all of the process of creating, dreaming up, customizing who you are, what your website sounds like, and continue that on. We're going to talk in the second half of this about promoting your business using the tool.
If anyone has any questions for Sarah now, you can put them in the Q&A box. There aren't any at present.
Okay, great. We will not look at delicious muffins, but if I were to create a bakery, I would then go to a stock imagery site and find images, and voila, I have a professional looking site with amazing copy that's custom to me. I think Wayne had something he wanted to ask. No?
Wayne, if you can type it in the Q&A box, that'd be great.
Yeah, and I think we'll just keep going on, and as questions come up, if you want to just chime in, Kathleen, that'll help me.
Yep, there's one. Are there any AI tools that have more recent data than January 2022?
Yes, there are, and I'll show you a series of logos at the very end of this presentation, 1 million AI tools now. So ChatGPT is the largest, and it's free, although there is a paid version. Everybody now, since they've seen the power of it, is starting to create smaller data sets that are specific for a task. Like, let's say you're in public relations. The database might be only about media outlets, right? So there's an AI tool to do images, to do video, to do, pretty much anything you want. And there are specialty databases for different kinds of copy and content. A Google search will tell you which one's which. Usually the specialty databases, though, the specialty AI bots, they cost money because they know what they're doing is highly valuable. So they might charge you a couple $100 to get access. There's another, I guess ChatGPT is the main one that everyone talks about, but there's Claude, there's one from Microsoft, there's a bunch. All right, let's get into it. So half of you here are actually, you've had a business for a while and you're looking to promote your business. So what are the things that chat can help us with? And it starts with digital ads. Writing ad copy is really a science, and a lot of people have done it for many, many years. And all of that has been out on the internet. So you can use ChatGPT to write some really compelling ads for you. You can do it for social media posts. This is probably the best one because social media, you got to post 3 to 5 times a week. In general, most companies do that. You don't have to, but at 3 to 5 posts a week, that's a lot of content to create. Blog posts, this is where it's amazing. It's basically like writing a blog post when you first start. It's easy, and then all of a sudden you run out of topics. So chat's really great about giving you topics and then further going on and writing those posts for you. Press releases, this is another good one. Lead magnets and all those automated follow-up emails. I think for anyone who's in B2B, you know that you have to keep emailing someone over and over again with new messages. So chat's really great for that. Co-branding campaigns. So let's say you want to do a campaign with another company that's kind of a peer company. Tell chat you're doing a co-branding campaign. Dream up a few options for us in order to promote it. Giveaways, landing pages. This is one I particularly like, which is responses to negative comments. So a best practice for small companies is, especially on Google Maps, if somebody gives you a Google review and it's negative, is to actually respond to it. Sometimes when you're responding to negative reviews, you end up saying the same thing over and over again. So you can actually ask chat, like, what are a bunch of creative ways I can respond to a negative review? And then if you actually are a consultant and you're looking to get more speaking gigs, you can have it write your speaker bio. So let's say we start with the first one. I need to write some digital ads for Facebook and Instagram. Ask me some questions and then write me 10 ads. So he says, ChatGPT says, sure. What's the main goal of the ads? Do you want more sales? Do you just want people to be aware of you? Do you want to promote a specific event? Who's your target audience? What products are you promoting? Do you have any specific promotions? Any unique selling points, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I start to answer some of the questions. I do want to convert new clients. And in this case, I'm pretending that I'm a grief counselor. Anyone who's suffering from grief after losing a loved one, grief counseling and grief coaching, booking a free consultation will be my call to action. Grief counseling, grief support, grief products is what I'm selling. I focus on women, have a Christian lens. I'm compassionate and experienced. I'm not sure. Can you help me figure this one out? And number 8, I also need help figuring out where to run the ads online. With that small amount of information, Chat has said, ad number 1, finding comfort in grief counseling. Navigating loss can feel overwhelming, but you're not alone. Book a free consultation with our compassionate grief counseling team today. And the image it suggests is of a supportive counselor with a comforting expression. You deserve support during grief is another great headline. Losing a loved one is never easy. Our experienced grief coaching service offers a guided hand through your journey. Book a free consultation. There is actually, join our grief support group, compassionate grief counseling for women, healing through faith, grief counseling. So a lot of these are good starts on copy. Now, book free consultation today is actually kind of a generic call to action. So Chat has done what I asked, but the inputs I gave it were kind of generic. So I didn't necessarily get, maybe the best that I could out of it. And so I might look at these and say, all right, good first start, but I want it to be more specific to me. I don't want it to say grief counselors like a random. I wanted to say Sarah Blecher, licensed social worker and experienced grief counselor. I might also say, well, the book your free consultation today doesn't feel like a really strong call to action. Like, Chat, can you recommend other calls to action or different special offers? So Chat can do all the writing, but you're going to still need to do the thinking and the evaluating, especially when it comes to ads. Would my ad perform better if they knew more about me? Would my ad perform better if they knew how satisfied my clients were? Would my ad perform better if I was offering a free webinar or free download or grief support group? Would my ad perform better if it was a video? So a lot of these things I can even ask Chat to give me suggestions on. And you keep iterating until you get to a set of ads that you really think could work. So let's say we're not a grief counselor. Let's say we're a roofing company. I own a roofing company and I need to write some blog posts for my website. Can you ask me some questions and then write 5 posts for me? And Chat says, no problem. I love how enthusiastic Chat is. Of course, exclamation point. What are some common roofing problems? How does the weather affect the lifespan? What are the benefits of regular roof maintenance? Can you explain different roofing materials? Lots and lots of things that Chat has come up with in order to prompt me. So I answer some of them. Well, leaks, exposure to the elements, make the roof brittle. Routine maintenance helps me find small problems before they become bigger. There's lots of different types like asphalt, metal, whatever, plastic, polymer, slate, wooden, shake, and clay tile. And I can keep going and answering all the questions. So Chat says, all right, well, we're going to use these points to craft some blog posts for you. The first one is the top 5 common roofing problems every homeowner should know. Weathering the storm, how weather impacts your roof's lifespan, the importance of routine roof maintenance, choosing the right roofing materials. All of these are pretty good. And it's just a little title and an intro. You can then go, I like this one. Can you write me a whole blog post about it? And it says, sure, no problem. And it continues on to write for you. Now, again, just like we saw on the About Us page, this is a good first start, right? But it's not optimized for local SEO. So these are just blog posts that it thinks people will be interested in. It's not blog posts that contain keywords that people use to look for your business. So to go up a level would be to say, hey, Chat, I did a little bit of research, or even ask it, how do I do keyword research? Did a little keyword research. These are the 5 keywords that I would like to appear for naturally in search. Can you work them into my blog posts? And Chat will say, sure, no problem. Another thing that might enhance your blog post would be a strong call to action at the end. So all of these blog posts are just going to be informational, but as marketers, we know after reading, I want you to do something. I want you to call me. I want you to get a free estimate. So asking chat to add a call to action at the end is also a good best practice. So one of the things that's really amazing at ChatGPT is it takes the burden of writing off of you so that you can focus on strategy. It's hard to focus on strategy when you have to do all of the writing effort. So let's say, I'm this roofer again, and I won some amazing award, and I want to put a press release up. This is a great use of ChatGPT. I need to write a press release about winning the Super Service Award from Angie's List. Can you ask me some questions and then write the press release? Yes. When did your company win the award? How long has your company been a member? What criteria did Angie's List consider when awarding the? You go down and down and down. Once you answer all these questions, again, plain language, nothing fancy, it can create that press release for you. And it sounds pretty great. I named the company Reliable Roofing. Could have been Simsbury Roofing, could have been anything. But Reliable Roofing, recognized with Angie's List Super Service Award for excellence in roofing services. Reliable Roofing, a leading roofing company serving Hartford County, is proud to announce has been honored with the prestigious Angie's List Super Service Award for the year of 2024. This marks the company's second consecutive year receiving this esteemed recognition. So you can already see that the copy is great, the format is great, the tone is appropriate. You do want to make sure that you go through, and again, we don't get any, chiropractic dominating in your chiropractic excellence sphere kind of language, but it does a pretty good job with press releases. So, okay, I need to write a few case studies, ask me some questions, and then write my case studies for me. So if you're doing anything that has to do with consulting, a lot of times, or you're selling an amazing technology platform, SaaS platform, you're going to need B2B, all kinds of B2B, you're going to need case studies. And they're just a pain to write. So let's start with some questions. And can you tell me about a recent roofing project? What were the specific challenges? How did your team approach these challenges? Were there innovative techniques or materials that you used? What were the results? Again, lots and lots of great questions. You can answer them in plain language, and it'll generate those case studies for you that you can use right away. So before I go on to what else can it do, are there any questions?
Yes, there are quite a few.
Let's do it.
A couple of statements. Google Gemini is also connected to live search, as is Perplexity. I've noticed you're using version 3.5 of ChatGPT. Why not 4?
Just the version I was using. It's an older version.
Question, is it worth to pay for the chat, the version 4, because it's not free?
It is so one of the things you can do with chat, which is kind of amazing, is you can have it mimic things you've done in the past, and you can have upload documents, large amounts of documents of things that you've written in the past, and then say, I need more of this kind of thing. So I would upgrade to 4 if you have documents with the large amounts of text that you can't just copy and paste in a little box. If you're looking to create more documents like something that already exists. Otherwise, 3.5 is fine.
Sandra asks, can I ask it how to do website copy or what I need to do in order to generate copy?
Yes, absolutely. The answers that come back will be they'll be helpful, but vague, and just keep asking it questions until you get to a point where you're like, oh, okay, I get this. Tell me more about this. Tell me more about that. How does this work?
Sharon asks, I'm currently writing a book and have used ChatGPT to help rewrite for tone and for editing. How else can I use it to help with my writing? Typically, I write and then enter the text for help.
That's actually the best way to use it. Remember, chat is going out to the internet and it's predicting what should be written. So when it's predicting things, it's not coming up with unique ideas. It's not coming up with special things. So when you're writing a book, you're really trying to have a unique idea written on the page that someone's going to read it and think, wow, this is an interesting thing. And it just kind of changes my perspective, right? Chat doesn't change perspective. It just regurgitates the perspective that's already out there. So the absolute best way to use it is the way you're using it. You put your source in and say, clean up my tone. If you wanted to, you could experiment with, again, going to Chat 4.0 and uploading the first half of your book and saying, write a second and see what it comes up with. You know, maybe there'll be ideas that come in there. Maybe it'll write things in a way that kind of mimics your tone, which could be amazing. Now, the downside for using ChatGPT to write a book is there are a million people out there doing that right now, and they don't care about the quality. So Amazon and some of these other self-publishing are going to make you check a box that says you use chat because they don't want garbage to be on their platform. So they're going to demote anything that was using it. So that whole world hasn't settled yet, but there's a whole thing happening in the book publishing world.
Leanne asks, do you write your answers in GPT or do you use Word and then copy and paste?
I usually start right in chat just to see what it gives me. The second half or the last part of this presentation, I'm going to talk to you about prompt libraries of people who've already written questions in formats that get really good answers. So any question that you ask ChatGPT, because you've logged in and created a free account, it'll keep it and the answer. So if you want to have it in a separate place as a Word doc, that's fine, but you don't necessarily need to because chat will save your questions and answers.
So if you just number the answers and the number associates with the question number, you're good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think that's what she was kind of getting at.
Yeah.
And Leanne, if that's not what you were getting at, please send a follow-up question. Wayne asks, it recommends images. Will it search a specific image library and show them as suggestions?
No, but there are ones where, like, you go to stock photography, there's a couple that are very cheap, like Free Pick and I'm trying to think of the other ones now. But there are a bunch of very inexpensive where you pay $10 for the month and you can have as many images as you want. There are others like Getty Images where the images are better quality, meaning they're really striking, but they're usually like $30 an image. So if it suggests an image, your next job would be to go out and look and see what images. You can also use AI to generate an image for you, but some of the images that AI bots are generating really are not professional, or they're kind of space agey. So it's one of those things where it's it's creating something cool, but will your audience think of it as cool?
Yeah, you really have to think about the tone of the image because I just did that with a presentation I'm giving next week, and the original ones I got back were so weird. It was like people who do comic books or something. Yeah. So yeah, you have to be very careful.
But they do have some video ones that are, I wouldn't say they're good, they're not bad. So you could say to ChatGPT, write me a script for a video that explains my product. Ask me some questions first. It asks you some questions. It writes the script. You can take that script and put it into a video production AI, and it'll come up with stock videos seamlessly tied together in a voice from a person. Like it's actually amazing.
So Beth does ask a follow-up question. So when you answered ChatGPT's questions, it looks like you have to use the sequence in which the question was asked. And yes, that is correct. Mm-hmm. 2, how or can we get graphics from ChatGPT?
I would say I would probably use some of the other AI bots that are specific for graphics. And actually, there's an AI graphics generator inside Canva. So for those of you who haven't really done graphic production before, there's a free platform called canva.com. There's also a paid version. But the free version, let's say you're creating a Facebook ad, they have a template for Facebook ads. And in that template, there's maybe 150 of them, 200 of them. You pick the template you want, change out the colors to match your colors, change out the images. If it's, if you sell soccer equipment, make them soccer pictures. So you can do 2 things. You can either get a stock image through Canva, or you can create an AI image. like if it doesn't exist. So I need a panda bear holding a present. You can ask for that. If your question of asking for an image becomes kind of too weird, you'll get some interesting unusable stuff back. But if you're just saying, I need a person on the telephone, or I need somebody carrying a pizza delivery, it can do an okay job there.
Great. And Trish makes the comment, it was helpful to find current AI video generators and general awareness of how fast this technology is progressing.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's going to keep changing, but I think the big thing is just to try it. And once you try it, ask a few questions in regular language. Add the, ask me questions before doing my task. And keep, you can go from there. You say, oh, I want the tone to be funnier, sweeter, more edgy. Just use it for copy first, get used to it. And then you can say, oh, I get this. I want to use it for my slide presentation. I want to use it for my video. I want to use it for my ads. Can we keep going?
I have one more thing to say before we keep going. Seth Godin wrote a blog post near the end of 2023 that's called ChatGPT for You. So if you just Google that, Seth Godin, ChatGPT, you'll probably get to it. The blog post talks about how you can use ChatGPT, a field that's called custom instructions. The bottom right-hand corner, I think, maybe. I'm not sure exactly where it is. Do you know where it is, Sarah?
Yeah, it's there.
And you can instruct it as to the types of answers you want it to give. And he's got a whole block of text that he put into ChatGPT to tell it how to respond to him, which I did the same thing, only I edited it for me. And it's very, very helpful.
Yes.
All right. That's
okay.
it for the questions.
So let's talk about, so we've talked about the kinds of things it can do to help you start your business, the kinds of things it can do to help you promote your business. Let's talk about what else it can do. So chat can actually get you some insights that will help you to write better ads, to write better web copy, to create better materials. So I can ask it, who is most likely to buy my, and then fill in the kind of products I sell. What about what I sell would they like the most? Who would they buy from if I didn't exist? How can I get them to choose me instead? And how can I turn this insight into an ad, a blog post, a web page, all of those sorts of things? So you can ask chat to help you think through one of your problems. And if your problem is, I want to get new fundraisers, or the problem is, I want to get new clients, whatever your problem is, you can actually have chat kind of talk you through what your options are. The other thing you can do is ask it to teach you how to do something. So if you're learning something new, you could say, what are the steps to building a website? What are the steps to publishing my first book? What are the steps to getting new B2B clients? What should I know about websites? What should I know about social media? What should I know about press releases? The other thing I love to ask it to do is to compare and contrast. Can you please compare and contrast these two things for me? And what happens is in the comparison, you actually get an insight as to why they're different. Once you know why they're different, you can actually pick the better one for you. And this is the dangerous one, but sometimes I'll do it. What are the most popular? There are certain things that are popular, and they're popular like for a long period of time. So you might say, what are the most popular website platforms? Now, it doesn't have any of the new stuff, but it has some like a place for you to start. So I would say you can use something like what are the most popular, but just know that it's got some limitations. The other thing you can do, and this is super amazing, is you can ask it to simulate an expert. So act as a copywriter and write me some, an annual report, or write me a a brochure, or write me a lead magnet download PDF white paper. Act as a creative director and dream up, some event that I should be doing. Act as a marketing consultant, act as a human resource expert, and write me some policy documents. So you can ask chat to simulate an expert. You can also ask chat to follow your lead. So you can say, here's a sample of something I've written before. Can you write me another one in the same format, length, and tone of voice? And it can. Can you write me 5 more? So if you give it some sort of input, it can give you more of that kind of thing. I like what you wrote, but could you try again and make it more formal, make it more casual, make it funny, make it heartfelt? You can actually have it transform something that you've already written in a different tone of voice to be more appropriate for what you're selling. So there are a few, we've talked just mostly in plain language about all of this. There are a few terms you actually need to know as you go forth and try to do more AI chatbot work. The first is the word prompt. And what they really mean is just the question you ask ChatGPT or any AI bot. A prompt engineer is simply a person who writes lots and lots of long prompts to figure out the absolute best way to ask that question to get an incredible result. The result of what a prompt engineer does is called a mega prompt. It's a very long, detailed question, typically not in plain language, created by a specialist to get the absolute best answer. And they have things now called prompt libraries. And this is a website with a library of pre-created questions from the prompt engineer. They're usually mega prompts to help you get a better result. So the place I want you to start is actually just with plain language and the ask me some questions before you do a task approach. That's the first way I want you to start. As you get to using it and you get some things you like, you'll use that. If you get to some things you don't like, you'll think, well, how can I do this better? That's when you want to go to a prompt library and see how people who spend all day on this do it. So let's take a look at one prompt library. There's a million of them. You could search prompt library. GoDaddy, which is a website platform, I don't necessarily recommend it, but they just posted this prompt library, and it's actually a pretty good prompt library for small businesses. So if you wanted to generate a content calendar, GoDaddy's prompt library says, embody the strategy of a skilled content manager and develop a comprehensive 6-month content calendar for business in industry. The calendar should account for relevant holidays, key industry events, and the unique content needs of each month, ensuring a consistent and timely flow of content. And then they have a little button below where you can copy it. So this isn't words that I would think of in order to create a content calendar. I would say, chat, can you create me a content calendar? But by asking it in this way, I might get a better result, right? Less generic, more interesting, more nuanced. So if you're thinking about doing some sort of, well-known things like putting together a local marketing plan or drafting blog posts or cold pitch emails, embody the strategy of a tactful business developer, penning an email that employs the problem agitated solved model to effectively pitch product or service to potential clients. So you can see that this isn't a way that you would think to necessarily ask the question, but someone spent a lot of time, and this way of asking returns a better result. So again, my first recommendation is just to try it on your own, just to write questions in English, your own language, however you say it. And then level 2 would be to go to some of these prompt libraries and say, oh, let me copy this and try this one out to see how it goes. So how do we kind of sum all this up? Well, ChatGPT and any AI bot is just a tool. It is not intelligent. It is merely predicting an answer based on the internet, what it thinks you want to hear. It makes creative tasks lightning fast, like milliseconds, and you can have 25 blog posts. It will give you generic answers at first, things that aren't specific to you. So always include the ask me questions before a task. It can give you very bad answers. So there are corners of the internet with things that are untrue, and it's using that as well. So make sure you're double checking any numbers, dates, names that are in the things that it creates for you. And it's not a replacement for the thinking and the strategy that you need to be successful. But what it does do is take the burden of the copywriting away. So you can spend that time thinking, is this the best call to action? Is this compelling to my audience? All of those higher level questions that'll make your work even better. So someone had mentioned before, is ChatGPT the only one? No, there's a million of them. So very many. Many of them are paid. ChatGPT just happens to be free. There's a paid version, the 4.0, that has a couple extra features, but yeah. And more are coming out every day that are customized for specific tasks or specific use cases. So you'll probably see some AI platforms specifically for ad agencies that generate ads based on their style of ad creation. There'll be some really creative stuff coming down the pipeline. That's it. Thank you guys. It's been a while. It's been a long time, but we got through it. So thank you.
Now's your chance to ask any additional questions that you might have specific to your own business or anything that you're working on. The floor is open.
And while we're actually, if we have any questions that are happening, I do want to plug one more time, because I just started at this amazing nonprofit called the American Mural Project. It's out in Winstead. It is the largest indoor collaborative artwork in the world, celebrating the art of work. They're only open Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays right now. So if you want to see this amazing 5-story mural, it is open 10 to 5 on Fridays and Saturdays and 12 to 5 on Sundays.
Great. That's a cool image.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is incredible. When you're there, you just feel so small, and the ideas are so big. It's great.
One person asks, how can I use it to generate leads?
Oh, actually, you can ask it that. So, well, actually, can we get more clarification on, is it a B2B? What kind of business? Do we know?
B2B.
Okay. So one of the things that you can do, let's say I'm selling a tool for business owners, or I'm selling a service to business owners, right? I can get a list of all the business owners in Connecticut. I can ask ChatGPT, what are the largest, what are the businesses that are of a certain size? And it can give you a list. That list won't be 100% accurate, but it'll give you some good ideas on where to start. So you can say, all right, give me a list of 50 mid-sized companies, and I would label it. I would say, company that has between this number of employees or makes this amount of revenue every year, and list them out for me. So you can use it for prospecting, but again, it ended in 2022. So if anybody has switched companies, if the company has gone out of business, if a new company has come up, it won't have the latest information. But yes, you can use it for prospecting. And you can even say, give me a list of companies, and then tell me what each of those companies does, what their primary business is. And it'll give you a sentence about that. So yeah, absolutely.
He says he or she is selling leafy greens.
Oh, leafy greens to
probably stores.
Yeah. So you can say, give me a list of stores. And actually, another way that might be helpful is you can there's Connecticut.gov has a list of all the businesses that are registered in Connecticut. You can also go and buy a list of people from services, from like a direct mail service. They can give you a whole list. The good thing about B2B is that the people you're going after are a known quantity. Like, those businesses exist. You can get a list of them, and then you can do all the basics, which is you can call them, you can show up, you can send them a mailer, you can email them, you can do all of those things. But no, in the B2B realm, well, actually in marketing in general, you have to touch somebody 5 to 7 times before they're willing to convert for anything. So a lot of small businesses mistake, oh, well, I went out there to the marketplace and I told everyone about me. Well, that's one touch. You have to keep at the same group over and over again until you feel comfortable enough to them that they're like, oh, I know that company, I'll buy it. So yeah, that's, and you can also say, hey, I'm a company, I sell B2B, I sell leafy greens to other businesses. How should I approach developing new clients? And it'll give you an approach. What are the steps to, getting somebody engaged with what I'm doing and ultimately converting them? Now, again, it's not intelligent. It's going to guess, it's going to predict what someone would say in that situation, but it'll give you enough to go on.
Yes, and this person says they're selling to restaurants.
Restaurants are even easier. Give me a list of restaurants in the area that focus on healthy eating. Or if, I don't know if you even are just focused on healthy restaurants or any restaurant. Yeah, that's your prospecting list. There is going to be a part though, where you're going to have to put in just regular human effort, phone calls, showing up, email, all that stuff.
Right, because unless they're a startup restaurant, they already have a vendor that sells them leafy greens, most likely. So you're convincing them to switch.
Yeah. And if you're local, that might be something they're interested in. Like chefs are really big on local. If you're, flying them in from California, they may be less likely, but you can say, hey, chat, I need to convince this audience to use my leafy greens. Ask me some questions and then suggest a way forward. It will.
Says, yes, I'm in the phase of market research.
That's a good way to use chat.
Yeah.
Now, again, if you ask chat how many people live in Connecticut, it may give you the right answer, it may not. So just be careful of numbers, dates, names.
So the concept of how to do it is great. And then for information about the scope, go to a website that you can trust the numbers for, which is the Connecticut Business website.
Yes.
Got it.
Government census, those kind of things.
Another question says, our business is national, booking to conferences. Any suggestions on that type of lead search?
Booking conferences. I'm sorry, I'm not sure I understand the business.
Booking to conferences. I'm not sure what that
conferences.
means.
And you want to get people to come to your conference. Is that correct?
I'm not sure if it's that or if it's I'm booking speaker. Oh, we book speakers to conferences.
Oh, ask ChatGPT about that. How would I go about booking speakers for my conferences? What can I tell? Like, let me tell you a little bit. Ask me some questions about my conference and suggest more ways for me to connect with speakers. That would be perfect for my. Yeah, it'll come up with a lot of interesting things. That's why people are kind of obsessed with it, because a lot of what we used to have to do before ChatGPT is go search on the internet and read blog posts. And now we don't have to do it. Chat's going to predict for us what all of those blog posts said about what we're supposed to do next.
The next question is, I'm starting a service which will help struggling teachers. How can I use chat to get help in marketing my services?
I would put that into chat and say, give me 5 ideas on how to connect with teachers and present to them my solution, my service. What are ways, and so traditional marketing, the easiest, fastest way to get in front of somebody is to do paid ads. But that costs money, a lot of money. The slower, less, guaranteed way is through like organic social posting. But you can't guarantee how many people will see it, how they'll see it. So you really want to be somewhere in the middle. You want to pay for a few ads and then you want to do some social stuff. So you're not paying maximum dollars, but you're also getting some predictable results. So if you're looking to get at teachers, you could go on Facebook and just do a Facebook ad that targets teachers. That will show them to you. That will show you to them once. But remember, we need to get 5 to 7 times. So from there, you might want to do, if they go to your website, a retargeting ad in order to get the people who went to your website once, connect with them 2, 3, 4, 5 times. That content for those ads, those jump pages, your website, that can all be done by ChatGPT.
The next question is, I'm printing customized promotional items. Would this still work with chat?
Yes. I mean, I think you have a website, right, that has products on it. I would say that your product descriptions. So what I might use chat for in that case is I'd say, hey, chat, I want to do some, I have these custom products, and I want to rank a little bit higher in organic search. So can you suggest some keywords for each of my products? Now that you've suggested the keywords, can you write product descriptions that leverage those keywords? So now I can plop in, and it's not going to come out as plain English. It's not going to say, oh, custom mug with your daughter's name on it. It's going to have some crazy titles, but those titles will be search optimized, or those descriptions will be search optimized. So you can use chat to do your product descriptions. And I think in terms of advertising, though, in general, when you're running an ad and you're selling custom products, you're going to want to do a gallery shopping ad. Anytime you're selling products, it's really a gallery ad or a shopping ad.
All right, there is a lull in the questions, so I would like to ask Steve to bring up our mentor poll and put in a plug for mentoring while we wait to see if there are any further questions, because I'm sure there are. So one way that you can work through some of the, let's say, nuanced things related to your business that chat can't necessarily help you with is to work with a SCORE mentor. And so if you're already working with a mentor, great. And if you're not, then you may choose to work with one. And so this poll is simply to ask you, if you answered no to the first question, that you don't have a mentor, would you like one? And if you say no, we will not bother you in any way, shape, or form. If you say yes, Steve will send you an email with how you can go about getting a mentor. And that's all there is to it. So we'll just leave that open and keep the Q&A box open for any further questions.
Yeah, I love the SCORE Mentor plus ChatGPT combo. And the reason is because you can work on the strategy with your SCORE Mentor, you can work on the insights, and then you can execute them with chat. That's a really good, powerful combo.
Yes. We also want to remind you all that we did record this session. You will get an email tomorrow with the replay, as well as a copy of Sarah's presentation. And we also have a YouTube channel that you are welcome to subscribe to. When you go to click on the replay, it will actually take you to YouTube, and you'll see the YouTube description there, etc. And you'll have the ability to subscribe. So anytime Sarah or anybody else does another workshop, you'll be notified that we've done another one. All right. Beth asks, in terms of working on intellectual property, but with ChatGPT as a research tool, who owns what I work on?
So that actually is a really good question. So anything that you put into ChatGPT, they get to hold on to. They're not going to publish it anywhere, but they might include it as part of their data set. So a lot of companies that have very specific, like if you're a company and you're in crisis mode, and you wouldn't want to use it to create your copy for managing the crisis, because the words that you put in to ChatGPT would reveal the bad that you've done that you're trying to kind of cover up. So anything that is personal and private and you don't want anyone to know about, don't put it into ChatGPT. There may be other AI platforms now that promise to keep that those secrets safe. I'm not aware of any right now, but that doesn't mean that somebody hasn't thought about it and put it together. But yeah, there are a lot of for-profit companies that now have policies that their employees may not use ChatGPT because that data goes into the database. It doesn't mean that it's going to be published in a book anywhere. It just means that it might pop up for somebody else in some other part of the country who asks a similar question, and then your answer becomes part of their results.
Legally, if Beth works on her own intellectual property and uses ChatGPT as a tool to help her write some of it, does she still own the copyright per se of her work, even though she used ChatGPT to supplement?
I'm not entirely
We
sure.
don't know.
I think that's a legal question for a lawyer. But you could probably do a search on Google. That seems like a question that's been asked before. So that would be my first thought, is to go on Google and find some law firm that's already kind of answered it. And then my second level to, because you always got to validate and verify, would be to actually go to an IP lawyer and say, tell me the nuance of this.
We have a comment that says, if you're on ChatGPT Plus or ChatGPT free plan on a personal workspace, you can opt out of training through our privacy portal by clicking on do not train on my content.
There you go.
You can also turn off training for your ChatGPT conversations by switching chat history and training off in the settings.
That is a really good point. Yes, thank you.
That's it for the questions.
Okay.
At least so far. We have many thank yous.
Oh, good. Go forth and chat. It's going to save you a ton of time. You're going to fall in love, and then you're going to start to ask it esoteric questions about life.
Like, how can I train my dog or something?
How do I get my teenagers to stop fighting over the bathroom? The big questions in life.
We have more thank yous pouring in for Sarah. So we are going to stop the recording at this point.